First, let me say we had a reading scheduled, and we have a lot of poetry readings here at the Betsy. We have had more than 500 writers, mostly writers, a few other kinds of artists in residence over the last many years, and all of them are required to do some public event. I frankly can't remember what event it was where we, on very short notice, asked Alberto, would you mind reading an opening a poem by my father? Really with no advance notice. Now, of course, Alberto is a magnificent extemporaneous speaker and really, really comfortable at the microphone. There's a love affair between the microphone and him. It loves him. And he said, sure. And so he read with, again, maybe 30 minutes notice. And he did it with a beautiful preamble, and then read like Laurence Olivier, this one poem. That was it. But we were so startled by it, we shouldn't have been surprised by it, but it was really something special. And as I've mentioned, I've grown up listening to my father read his poetry on tape and other people's poetry, and so hold very dear sort of the idea of what makes a great reader of poetry. Because, by the way, there are lots of great poets who may or may not be great readers of their own work or other people's work. My father was a good reader, and Alberto is a great speaker. So anyway, that led us to really comfortably say, could you, Alberto, think about being the narrator for this musical work that is being prepared at the New World Symphony, composition where the music is by my brother-in-law, who is a serious composer, PhD in music composition, and requires a narrator because the work involves several of my father's poems. And Alberto agreed rather quickly. And now I think one of the most amazing pieces of the story is that when the conductor, Michael Rossi, a very serious conductor affiliated with the Kennedy Center, now the executive founder and executive director of the Miami Music Festival, went to his office for the first time to practice with him, and asked him if he read music, and the answer was no, and did he understand a score, and kind of the answer was no, and he put in front of him a big, beautiful orchestral score, and Alberto, wise and highly intelligent fellow that he was, figured out a way to count rhythmically to the places where he was meant to come in with this full orchestra behind him. And I went to the performance. It was magnificent. And I have often joked with him since, after complimenting him for how well he read, was that he's so comfortable behind the microphone that although there was no evidence of it, that I was sure that he had some butterflies that day behind the microphone, which is unusual for him because he doesn't have butterflies behind the microphone. But this, I think, for anybody with a 75-piece full orchestra in a great concert hall here in Miami Beach, had to at least be a tad unsure of the outcome, but it was really a tremendous experience.